So I've been without my kids February, March, April, May, 4 months. 4 months my kids were taken from me. Put in the hands of John Kiska, who is at a minimum a pathological liar, likely a narcissist, and perhaps a psychopath.
We're not talking about you now.
No, we're talking about John Kiska, who you gave my kids to.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that.
You don't want to get into that?
Talk to me about anything related
Okay,
to Kiska.
so, but you're aware that there's 11 volumes of evidence at the courthouse of evidence of what John Kiska has done to my children and I for 6 years?
Okay, that is something you can present it to court.
No, but are you aware that there's a lot of evidence that proves he's a narcissist?
I don't know what you mean by narcissist.
You don't know what I mean by a narcissist?
Okay, so...
But I can explain, because...
Okay, no, don't explain. I don't know what exactly it involves.
It means it's someone who's very abusive towards people.
Okay, that is if there is anything that the father had been abusive.
Yes.
That is what I look into, but then that is the thing that should have been reported at the time.
But I did report it.
Okay.
And in fact, I handed a copy of this to Viana Ibrahim.
Right.
Did
Yeah.
you get a copy? Did you read this?
Well, I didn't read the whole thing. I screened through it and.
But this has the evidence that shows he's an abusive man and a
Okay.
pathological liar.
Okay, understood.
But then you took my kids away from me. I'm not a pathological liar or a narcissist. So the kids were taken from the loving mother and given to the abusive father.
Yeah, there's no doubt you are a loving mother. There's no doubt about that whatsoever.
There's no doubt that he's an abusive father,
Well,
too.
Yeah, there's no doubt you are a loving mother. I acknowledge that. I agree with that. I have no doubt whatsoever.
Why did you support a restraining order against me to prevent me from seeing the kids?
Because you were not following the rules.
What rules?
Because you were showing up at the home.
I was delivering chocolate chip cookies. I was delivering okay, so first of all, let's go back to why did you get a restraining order in the first place? Why did you take my kids out of my house?
Okay, that is the question I wanted you to answer. When I came...
Yeah, why did you take the kids from my home?
That is what I want you to ask, and that is what I want to answer.
Okay.
So listen to my answer.
I'm listening, yeah.
Okay? So I came to your home.
Yes.
Just Muhammad, nothing, no police, nobody, and you denied me access to the home.
No, you came to my home.
Let me finish.
Well, when did I deny you? You were in my son's bedroom with Vienna a week earlier.
Okay, so
I didn't deny
came
access.
because we had information that was a protection concern, and that is written in the court papers that you had received. So when I came to the home, I came all by myself.
No, let's talk.
Listen, let me finish.
Okay, but you're not telling the truth.
No. Okay, so that's something else. I'm telling you.
I have notes.
Okay, that is fine.
I took notes every day you showed up.
Listen, I don't want to argue here.
Neither do I.
Okay.
But I want you to be truthful.
So you asked the question.
Yes.
Please listen to the answer.
Yes. Okay. What's the answer?
Whether you accept it or not, my answer is I came, just Muhammad, myself, and because we had information that was very concerning, so I came to verify that information and assess the situation, right? And then decide accordingly. When I came, you immediately closed the door and you said, go back and make an appointment. So I called police for support. Police came, okay? And then you started, you were inappropriate in all those conversations. And then while I was there, I decided that the children should not be there. And then, you know, they were taken to the father's home. So that is my answer to your question.
Okay, that's your answer. Well, there's a couple things wrong with your answer. First of all, just because you're upset doesn't give you a right to abduct children. Just because you were upset.
I was not upset.
Okay, well,
I was doing my
so
job.
were they in any imminent danger? Because I think that's what has to, based on some case law that I've read, your role is to assess whether or not the children are in imminent danger, and if they are, you're entitled to remove them.
Yeah, that is exactly what
So
happened.
you felt that they were in imminent danger?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's interesting, first of all.
That is in my
What
affidavit.
sort of, I know it's in your affidavit, yeah, I've seen
okay,
it.
So
But how were they in imminent danger?
Well, because the information we received was concerning, and they came to verify that information, discuss with you.
But did you
And
see,
they was really
were there
hoping.
steak knives hanging from the ceiling? Like what?
I honestly,
Yeah.
I was really hoping that I will come in, we'll sit down with you, we'll have a discussion, we'll talk about the information that we had received,
Yeah.
and then that would have helped a great deal.
Okay.
But you
Yeah,
denied
okay, so
me access.
here's the other part of the problem. Let's set aside all of that story for a
Okay.
moment.
Mm.
The reality is, you arrived with Vienna Ibrahim.
Right, for the
the e-
transfer meeting.
No. You came into my home, and yeah, I've been traveling, and a lot of stuff has been stolen. Let's see, you took the kids on the 5th, so, and then you threatened a court date the following, and you followed through on that. That's for sure. The weekend before, I think it was the Thursday, you and Vienna came to my home. Oh, here we go. You came on the Thursday, the 31st of January. You two walked into my home. You chatted about stuff, and then you asked me to sign a voluntary a voluntary agreement where the Children's Aid Society would be involved in the family in perpetuity. Do you recall that meeting? We were in my son's bedroom.
So
Do you recall the meeting?
Okay, I do.
Okay, so
I
that
don't
was
know-
so
okay,
let's.
so
That's January 31st,
Okay.
and what happened, I have all the evidence that supports this is what happened, because I have emails which were responded to by Vienna. You didn't provide me with the business card or an email address, so you didn't get them right away, but I have all of those. Now, all I did was I said, I'm not going to agree to sign I'm not going to agree to sign a so-called voluntary agreement unless I understand what you're asking me to agree
That is true.
to.
That is very
And I
true.
asked for some documentation.
That is true.
And I asked for it a few times.
Yes, you did.
And that between the 31st and I never received any documentation. All I received was a knock on the door on the 5th of February, and that was you and 3 police officers, and I was on the couch, if you recall, with my son Sean, and you insisted on taking the kids, and I just sat there and I didn't argue because I realized this is so ridiculous. But there was no you coming on your own. There was no anything. There was no support for you to, no reason, no support, no warrant, no nothing. I think for some reason you were upset that I refused to agree to sign a so-called voluntary agreement without seeing anything, and I think you got really mad and you decided that you had the power to take my children, and you did.
Okay. So what happened is when I came with Vienna,
On January 31st. So you're just gonna address now. I've just
okay, so
told
can
you
I-
what actually happened. Now what are you
so
gonna?
I listened to you, so do you listen to me.
I'm gonna listen to you. Yes. Okay.
So the process is when a worker has a file, and if the file is going to be transferred to another worker, then we need to do a transfer meeting. Okay? So when I was notified that the file is going to be transferred to me, then we had Vienna and myself had to come to your place, and it was a planned visit. So we came to discuss that transfer meeting that Vienna is going to transfer the file to me, and I am going to be your worker.
Right. So that was
Okay?
January 31st,
Okay,
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then Vienna explained the process. Is usually what happens is when we start working together, we develop a 6-month plan of service. This 6-month plan of service lay out what we are trying to achieve for the next 6 months. So if we agree on the objectives and the activities, Okay, so we start working together. At the end of the 6 months, if everything, because there are safety goals, right? So it says the society will be ready to close the file if this and this and this happens. At the end of the 6 months, we sit down together and we review what we have achieved. If everything is good, we are all happy, then we close the file, right? Or we extend the plan for another whatever 6 months or 3 months or whatever. So in that meeting, you requested more information, and
I requested documentation.
yes,
Because
that's
at the
true.
hearing,
Yeah,
I wanted to see it in writing.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. No,
Okay.
you're absolutely right.
Okay.
You requested information, documentation, and you requested the process as well. So,
Did I ever get that?
and then that is why the transfer process was deemed incomplete, right? Because if it was complete, if we all agreed okay, Mohammed, you are going to be my worker from now on, and Vienna, I won't be seeing you unless you are covering for somebody, and then I give you my business card so that any contact will be with me. So that process was incomplete because you said, okay, so this meeting is over. You
No,
can.
all I said was I'm not
Okay,
agreeing to
okay,
anything
okay,
unless
let
I
me
see it in
finish,
writing.
Let me finish.
I know.
Let me finish.
I'd like you to quote me accurately.
Okay, so that process, the transfer process was incomplete,
Because
and because we did not agree.
because you didn't give me any documentation.
No, because that's something, because if you said, okay, so fine, Mohammed, welcome, and I hope we'll be working together cooperatively, blah 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 blah. Then I give you my
No, but it
business
wasn't
card.
that.
So in
That
my-
wasn't the question.
So then I go and get you things that you had requested, but you said, okay, so this meeting is over.
No, I said I'm
Okay,
not. You
okay.
asked me to agree
And
to
then-
voluntary involvement
Yeah.
with the CAS into perpetuity,
Right,
and I
so-
said I'm not agreeing to anything like that
is
unless
true.
I see it
I'm
in
not
writing.
disagreeing with that.
And then I
So-
asked for it writing, and
so
you
then
said you would
what I am
provide it,
saying
and I
is-
never received anything.
Okay, so
And
what
then
I'm
my
sa-
children were
okay, so what I
taken.
am saying is that transfer process was incomplete, and that means I was not technically your worker, and because that transfer process was incomplete. So then I was hoping that we'll come back and collect all the documents, that will answer your questions, and then come back to you and complete the transfer.
Right.
Right? Before we did that, we received information that was concerning.
What kind of information?
That is written in my affidavit. Okay, so
But you're-
and then I was directed. Vienna was not.
Your affidavit is false.
Let me finish.
Certainly.
I was directed because when the information came, I was directed by my supervisor to go and attend the house and announce, right?
With the 3 police officers.
So listen, let me finish. So when I came all by myself.
That's not true.
Okay, so listen.
What date do you claim you came all by yourself?
On
Between January 31 and
no,
Feb 5th.
on that day, February 5th.
You were with 3 police officers.
No, but if you are, let me complete the sentence which I am repeating myself. So I came when I was directed by my supervisor to go and find out this information, discuss with DIDRA, and assess the situation, and then we'll take the decision accordingly. I came all by myself. There was no police whatsoever, and you immediately closed the door and said, go back and come and make an appointment. So I went back to my car. I called my supervisor. I said, this is what happened, and the decision was made that I had to talk to you. I had to come in, but because I was denied, I had to contact police for support. Police came, and then we came. I came with police.
When you entered the house with the police, did you feel the kids were in imminent danger?
No, the point was, I wanted to discuss the information we received, and you were not cooperating with that.
So because I did not, I'm a little, who knows what you're talking about, but I don't think my choice to not talk to you at a certain time, maybe I had to go to a meeting, maybe I was, who knows. I don't think that's grounds for abducting children and seeking a temporary and then a permanent restraining order, which prevented me from seeing the kids.
Okay, so that's...
So how do you support that decision? How do you think that's actually helping kids? That just because you didn't get to have a chit chat, that you're able to remove you? Do you understand how horrific it must be to be ripped from your parents at that age?
Well, so Idra, we know how it impacts on the children when they are removed.
Yeah,
from
and you did
their
it anyway.
I mean, Sean and Kate were removed from your home because of the concern.
What
and
concern was it?
They were not placed in a foster home. They were placed with their father.
Who's a narcissist?
And they were in, so they were placed in their father. I am very comfortable where they are. Because I know they are safe, I know they are happy,
Okay,
I'm sure they are missing their
so, okay, I have a question.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no,
I
okay,
see
that's good,
them
that's fine.
every month.
Move
and
on from this,
I
'cause
talk to them
can we just move
privately.
on? I know.
Idra.
Yeah, that's okay.
I talk to them privately
yeah.
and I assess situation and I am very comfortable of the decision
Oh yeah,
the
that's
society
great. I'm
has.
not, he's a narcissist, he's abusing the
Admit.
kids. So
Okay.
here's my next question.
Right.
I think you're incompetent, and I think you're a liar. I think you forged signatures to get a restraining order through the court system. I think your affidavits are laden with false statements of fact, omissions, errors, and malicious obfuscation. I think you are ignorant of our family situation, and you have refused, admittedly, to review any of the evidence that's contained in a publicly available court document that supports my allegations that John Kiska is, at a minimum, a pathological liar, likely a narcissist, and possibly a psychopath. For these reasons, I would like to transfer you as my worker to someone else who has more interest in the well-being of my two children.
That is perfectly all right.
How do I do that?
Okay, so call my supervisor.
Who's your
Her
supervisor?
name is Isabel.
I'm sorry, how do you spell her name?
Isabel, I-S-A-B-E-L-L-E.
Yes, yes.
Gindo, G-U-I-N.
G-U-I-N.
D-O-N.
D-O-N, okay.
Yeah.
And she's
her
your supervisor?
extension is 3516.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3516 is her extension.
3516.
Yeah.
And what is, do you have a cell phone number? And an email address?
For whom?
Isabel Guédin.
Well, I don't have them.
Okay, I would need her email
I mean,
address
call her.
because I'm going to send her some evidence.
Well, I mean, call her and take her email from her.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
we'll get that before I go, okay?
Sure.
Okay, super. So that pretty much wraps it up for me.
I will tell her, you want this.
No, I'm going to send her evidence today.
Okay, I am going to tell her that,
Okay.
this is what Didra is asking. And if she gives me, if she allows me, if she permits me, then I get you her email.
No, I'm not leaving the office until I have her email address. And while I sit here,
That is up
I'm
to
going to
you.
send her
And
the
I am saying-
evidence
I
that
am not saying I will
supports my
get
allegations.
you the email address. I am saying I will talk to her
Okay,
and say this is what you are requesting.
okay, super. So I'll just wait
Well,
here until
clear?
I get her email
Okay,
address. Okay.
perfect.
All right, thank
Right
you.
All right.
So I'll just have to make sure that this room is not booked by someone else.
Okay.
If it's not, I'm sure it's fine to stay
Okay.
until you get what you need, but at some point it will be booked.
Yeah, I have things. I have to go to the courthouse today because I'm suing Kiska's lawyer as well as the Children's Aid Society.
Sure.
So I need to go to the courthouse and also secure the divorce date, which I
So
think
why
is still
don't
in
you just
September.
give Isabel a call, leave her a voicemail and ask for her email instead of sitting here if you have other things to do.
Well,
Would that be
sure,
more
if
better?
but if I get it, sometimes I don't actually get it. And I think someone was gonna get me a copy of process, right, documentation. I still am looking for pieces of paper that actually outline what the process is.
Okay, I'll talk to Isabel and get back to you.
Can you provide me with the documentation that I asked for back in January?
Well, I'm not prepared now.
Well, it should be somewhere in a file, just print it off.
Well, but I have other things to do.
I know, but I'd like to know.
I have.
I'd like to know what involvement means, what your involvement means. Like, what does it mean? I need that written down. Mr. Said? Okay. That takes care of- Bye.